Welcome back to Quick Wins with Com. I'm your host, Richard Deterge, and today we're going to be innovating. We're going to be trying something a little bit different. We've got an episode called Quick Wins with Com Presents, and I've got a great presenter who we're going to present, which is Nick Abrahams. Nick Abrahams has pretty much changed the entire tech space in Australia, really pioneered this industry. He's got a great book out called Digital Disruption, and he's going to take us through what innovation really means and how you can actually innovate your business. Doesn't matter what business it is, what innovation means to you, and how you can really take it forward. How do you stay innovative, stay at the top of your game in your industry? So I thought for this interview, let's talk to Australia's leading technology lawyers, Nick Abrahams. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nick. So Nick, you've really been the forefront or really in the depth there of technology, innovation, and startups that come to Australia, investing in Australia. And I thought, we deal with a lot of traditional businesses here, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to ask some questions around this innovation space, because we're hearing innovation everywhere now.
Yeah.
Mining's gone, innovation's here.
Yeah.
And I thought you've been in this space for a long time before it was even a hip word.
Yeah.
I wanted to sort of get your opinion on this whole innovation game. What's it all about?
Yeah, well, I just got to say, there is one reason why innovation is sort of the government buzzword, and that is because the mining boom has gone. So
officially gone?
We're gone for the moment anyway. So, and fingers crossed it stays away for a while so we can have some fun in the tech community. But if you just look at the raw numbers, so after the .com crash, we had almost no tech IPOs in Australia until 2013, when we had 5, and then 2014 we had 45, and then 2015 we had 55.
We were growing fast.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of capital which has surged into the tech sector. And so people are talking innovation, and I think we talk about innovation, we talk about technology perhaps in the same breath, and whilst technology is a part of innovation, it's obviously not the whole thing.
So when you say it's not the whole thing, it's a large part. Is that because it's the new technology coming through? But when we talk about innovation, when you say it's not part of technology, what would you refer that to?
So I see innovation as anything that you do as an organisation which will increase your business in some way. So increase the stickiness of your users, increase your revenue. And so that can happen in a variety of ways. There can be workforce innovation. Do you move to a contractor model? Do you change the structure? Do you use, people who are less qualified to do different sorts of work? Do you offshore things? So there's innovation that you can do across a variety of areas, and technology can be an enabler. But we've seen in the past that just using technology as a means of innovation for the sake of it can be catastrophic.
Sure. So I really like that, because we work a lot with traditional businesses, the plumbers, the locksmiths, the carpenters, the personal trainers. And sometimes, it's about, when you're saying it's just changing a contractor model or changing staff retention rate, that is innovation.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I think, so one of the big things that I think we need to think about when we talk about innovation is how can you work with an ecosystem? So right at the moment, I think what's happened, at big corporates and at the smaller end of the market is people are recognising that you can't do it all yourself. There's too much out there. So how can you work with an ecosystem around you and partner in order to bring some sort of innovative product to market?
Explain I really love this concept, the ecosystem. We were talking about it earlier. So when we say an ecosystem, you're basically saying, more of a partnership with other sort of similar organisations that will help move the business forward. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, they can be similar or they can be completely dissimilar. So if you look at Swinburne Online, that's a wonderful example of partnering in this new world. So Swinburne University needed to go online. It had not been going well with its online engagement, and so it joined together with Seek. So better known as the the website where you go for employment. So they joined together to create Swinburne Online, and that has been an enormous success. So it's taking Swinburne's courses online, but it's using Seek's know-how in the online space and Swinburne's obvious reputation and knowledge as an educational facility. You bring those two together, and boom, you've got a real disruptor.
That is really, that's really cool, because you really literally can have a business, a traditional industry, a traditional business, and it's about thinking outside the box of how you can best step moving that whole business or industry forward, just by thinking a little bit differently. So do you believe that now, obviously government's getting behind innovation much more. Do you believe now people are more aware of these new opportunities, would you say? Is it becoming more and more and more that people are wanting your services as well for mergers, for acquisitions, for startups?
Oh yeah, I mean this has been a massive few years in terms of people seeking out legal advice to figure out how they partner with other organisations, but also the buying and selling of technology-enabled businesses has been very large. So now is the right time, and if you look at it, it is remarkable because now for the first time ever, Australia is in a position where this whole tyranny of distance that we had has been completely undone, because I'm working with clients today who are growing global businesses from day one. And so you couldn't do that before. 10 years ago, you couldn't reach a global marketplace with a technology business. You had to, from Australia, you had to go and set up servers and field salespeople in the US to go and knock on doors and sell things. Yeah. Whereas look at my favourite story is I got a call one day from this guy Chris Strode. Right. He calls me up and he goes, "Hi, I need to get an investor in my tech company. Can I and I heard you can do it. So I'm in the Central Coast." And I'm like, "Oh, what technology companies are there in the Central Coast? I've never heard of such a thing." And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, well it's an app. I build an app." And
I bet you get those stories all the time. Build an app.
Yeah, an app. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I hear it. Yeah, I mean, I get there's a lot of people, and that's fine. I love hearing what entrepreneurs are doing. So I'm like, an app on the Central Coast. Wow, that's one. And I said, "So who do you think is going to buy that business?" And he then said, "Well, I've got a term sheet from Accel Partners, which is one of the leading Silicon Valley venture capitalists." Right. And then he reeled off two other VCs from the States who are also equally as credible. And so ultimately we did a deal for Chris where they invested $30 million on a $100 million valuation. He built that business from zero to $100 million of valuation at Copacabana Beach.
At Copacabana Beach, yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing there. I mean, there's a great beach, but it just goes to show that you can do anything, and that is the global leader in. It's called Invoice to Go in mobile invoicing. He did that from a beachside suburb north of Newcastle.
Yeah, Invoice to Go. I mean, everybody's heard that if you've been in business, haven't you?
Yeah,
that's a really good. And I'll sort of probably finish up here, but. How do you predict such a thing? Like, we saw Fitbit, and then all of a sudden now we have 30 watches that do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But,
of questionable utility, you'd have to say. It's like, do I really care how many steps I've taken? I got a rough idea. It's not changing too much day to day.
Yeah, and so it's everywhere now. So give us a couple tips and suggestions of how, in our industry, if we're a traditional business even in our industry, how do we predict what's happening? And even if we're not a business owner that's a futurist, how do we catch on and make sure that we're not falling too far behind? What do we need to look out for?
Yeah, so you mentioned it before, which is that concept of, I think everything is as a service. The idea of subscription models to whatever you can get your hands on. So that's absolutely a theme which we keep seeing time and time again, whether it's legal, whether it's in the how you get servers through Amazon Web Services. So that's something that started at the technical level but has come through. So insurance, those sorts of things. So I think everything as a service. So try to see, people love a subscription model and frankly, it's great for a business. You get, so moving from a transactional model to a subscription model, as a locksmith, is there a deal to be done where you can say to someone, I will make sure your locks are always working for the whole year and you pay me X dollars. And then, I don't know whether that works, but that's, so I see that as a critical part of things. The other thing which is really important is just this idea of partnering. And thinking, so the way I see it is the innovative companies are looking around to see who has either a product or service that I can bundle with my existing service to make an offering that is more attractive to my end user or stickier with my end user. So how can I bundle someone else onto what I'm doing to get a better solution to the client that they will stay with me longer? Or looking for someone who's got an audience or a customer base that I can't access and I want to work with them on that. So that's where, let's say, for example, you traditionally, you're deep in, if you're a locksmith and you're great in, hospitality, and you wonder, how do I get into, hospitals? Who can I work with there? Who can I approach to provide a solution where I can be bundled in with someone else's product? So they're the sort of two things which I feel are very strong. There's a lot of hype, certainly around Internet of Things, mobility, everything mobile, everything to the phone.
I hear this year is one of the first years that more people are now on mobile devices than computers.
Oh,
so
right, yeah.
It's all about mobile still, yeah?
Yeah, and interestingly, what happened with Invoice to Go, the idea of mobile invoicing, well, that seems like a pretty simple idea, right?
Yes.
But the reason why Accel invested in that business is because that was born digital and born mobile. So it wasn't someone who was trying to morph a platform from a desktop into a mobile environment, but it was so native to the mobile environment that it was just a beautiful experience. So, the other thing that is critical is around user experience. So if you look at Uber, so Uber is successful because it's an amazing user experience. It is illegal in many places. It's legal now in New South Wales, but when it started, it was illegal. And there's another business called GoCatch out here, which is in a similar sort of space. And what's happened there is Uber came in and they said, you know what, we may not be legal, but we've got a war chest set aside to pay for fines. And so they just went ahead and we've all come around. We've all gone, we love this experience.
We have come around,
and the government has gone, well, hang on, the people love it, so we'd better follow on with it. And so what's happened is regulation gets trumped by user experience. So you create Airbnb, illegal largely when it started, and now so many people use it. The government will respond to the pressure of the people. People say Airbnb we like, that's staying. So you need to think about how can you innovate. So the reason I mentioned GoCatch is GoCatch didn't have the war chest to say we're just going to go down that Uber model and we'll just pay for any fines. They didn't have that money. And so consequently, Uber has stolen significant market share in Australia. So user experience is critical, and that's where the big opportunities, for our kids and so forth. Things like data science, user experience, product management, online product managers, things like that. That's where things are. Don't do law, kids. Promise me you won't do law.
No, that's so interesting. Your wealth of information, and it's just I'm just thinking about the ideas now in my head and partnerships, and it really is a platform right now to go out there and find that innovating way that you can take that step in a business and a transaction and make it more exciting, make it better, make it stickable, as you say, to continue the growth that we need to move forward. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. As I said, I could sit here all day and talk.
It's been great.
But thanks so much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Are you getting leads and conversions in your business online? At Com, our 2-day digital immersion course can help you upskill your marketing.
The immersion course has been absolutely amazing.
It was great. We covered a lot of topics in 2 days.
Learn from a variety of Com team members who are specialists in their field.
We learned so much. I just wrote a whole page of notes.
The founder of Com, Richard, kickstarts the course by educating the importance of fundamentals in online marketing to assist with brand awareness.
If you've got that overall strategy finalised with expert input from people like Com, things should be much easier to implement on a tactical basis.
Expand your knowledge of websites through the lens of lead conversion. Or perhaps you may be interested in learning more about social media marketing, including Facebook advertising, how to use Instagram for business, or even LinkedIn. Plus, have some fun in our interactive live video marketing workshop, where you will gain all the information you need to start making videos for your business.
The way technology is changing and the way we have to be at the forefront, or else we become dinosaurs.
Join us for our next digital immersion course and learn how you can grow your business online.